welcome everyone. You are listening to and perhaps watching the Division D version of Calling the Audible. I am your host for the week, Peeze and Alex. I was taken off a summer deck to come in and replace Mokan this week. Mokan's following his dream, so I gotta appreciate that.
It's true, you are unemployed right now.
I am. Well, on vacation is a better term because I'm being paid to be unemployed, and I'm joined by the overemployed Alex Hollowak to my left.
Sweet, glad to be here with you, Peeze. For those of you who don't know, and I don't know why anybody would know this outside of us immediately, Peeze is the one who brought me into this media game. So for all 2,000 hip-hop fans, he's like the Birdman to my Lil Wayne,
Nice.
or the Dr. Dre to my Eminem.
I like that.
He's my bird daddy.
Look, I'm Dr. Dre. You gotta face it. You gotta face it, Eagle. Eagle at Master Control, producing the show as always.
You are the remora to my shark.
Well, I mean, we do.
So when you said
we
deck,
do an intimate relationship.
when you said you're on a deck before, you really meant on Eagle.
Yeah, on his deck.
Yeah, on his deck.
There's a typo in deck.
So I'm actually really happy for Mo. I want to take a moment to praise him because then I'm gonna make fun of him.
Good.
So I'm really happy because Mokan, for those of you who don't know, is on. It's not Team 990 anymore. It's 690. 690.
TSN 690.
TSN 690. Sorry.
AM radio.
Yeah, I haven't listened to AM radio in a while, but Mokan is living the dream. He's going out there trying to make this a career. All of us.
It's already a career for him.
Well, it is absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry, what I mean by that is
Pursue it as a career.
To take the next step in his career, which is why he's out there tonight. So I do like to tease Mo, but there are a few people in FPF. Players, media, or otherwise, who I share as much mutual respect with as I do Mokan.
Class act.
Absolutely. However,
He's all right.
this is a thing I've listened to all season long with Mo that's driven me nuts. Mokan is sports media. I don't mean that as a compliment. Sports media is the lowest rung of all entertainment.
Well, no, tabloid's pretty low,
Nope.
too.
Yeah.
I don't, dude. I'm sorry.
Political press, CNN.
It's worse.
Fox
it's worse.
News.
It is cliche.
The Guardian.
It's easier. It's easier to talk about stuff that hasn't happened yet, and then do the research to talk about things that have happened, which is not what Mo does. But I'm saying that's what sports media does a lot. What Mo does, the thing that drives me crazy is, well, this team's gotta get better. They win a game. They got better. It's all because of me. It's my ego that saved the team, and I laugh. I'm like, I usually listen to you guys while gardening.
Yeah.
Because I listen to all the podcasts.
Well, that's our target demographic.
His tulips are
30-year-old.
Male gardeners.
His tulips are beautiful.
gardeners.
You should check them out.
Not to I have a rose garden.
I'm sorry, rose
lots of
garden.
vegetables. But essentially, the reason I listen to every podcast twice because I am in charge of the content for FPF, so I take a lot of time to listen to it, and it drives me nuts every time I hear him say it. I'm like, yes, Mo, TOPSZN is playing better because you called them out, not because they want to win a championship, not because they want to improve, not because they want to go out there and win games. So I always found it to be particularly enjoyable every time he does that.
Yeah, it's the Mokan universe, and we're just on for the ride. Yeah. For me personally, I love working with Mo. I just find spreads are kind of ridiculous sometimes. At the end of the show, where he's like, they'll win by 10.5. Like, where do you come up with this number?
Vegas comes up with the number.
Vegas comes up with the number.
We will actually be implementing a true spread system for fall, but we'll talk about that next week.
We need actuaries. If there's any actuaries out there, because we need to do that properly.
No,
and
I figured it out. I got it. Don't worry.
I got that in my at the end of the show. I'll bring that up. Actually, the FPF Cup and a little bit of info about the FPF News Day that we were introducing. If Commissioner Campana can wait till Wednesday each week to let the news out.
Peeze, you are kind of new to the Div D people, sort of,
Nope.
kind of, other than I know, but now they actually see you.
Yes.
How can they reach you if they want to message you for this?
Thank you, Eagle. I forgot to do that. I can be reached on Facebook. I'm fairly approachable. Peeze Alex is my name on Facebook. I can be reached at Peeze FPF.
Especially if you want to troll them.
Yeah, in fact, I invite the trolls in my article. For those of you who have read, you'll know I respond to the trolls in the article. I think it's fun. A lot of what I do here, because again, I don't really enjoy most sports media, I take a satire because I far more enjoy satire, which is a bizarre thing to do when you've chosen to be in charge of content for a football league, but whatever.
It's been a lot of great satirical sports journalism in the past as well.
Absolutely.
And that,
but I like that.
I agree with you.
I like
that
that.
trade. That's the best.
Hollowak, how can people reach you?
You can reach me at Alex Hollowak1 at Twitter or on Facebook.
Nice.
And if you want to reach the show live, you can tweet at EagleFPF. Or alternatively, if you're watching on YouTube Live, you can use our chat system. And we now have it such that whatever you write will appear on the screen. And now that I say that out loud, I really regret saying it.
Why?
Because they're going to write nonsense on the screen.
Nice, that's amazing. Please, I encourage all the nonsense. The more nonsense, the
So
better.
there's a live Twitter tracker.
There's a YouTube Live chat, actually.
Oh, YouTube live chat. Yeah,
Yes.
I knew about that. I did know about that.
To let everyone know what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing some recaps, some playoff breakdowns, talk about some scenarios coming up. I did a lot of scenario work in last week's article. I'm never doing that again in article form.
Nope.
It's so much work. It took so long to write.
Last time I did that, I did a matrix. There were 28 scenarios, and I calculated a probability of playoffs. That was, I think, 2011, because I never wanted to do it again.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again. It was so hard.
Simon Dagenet seems to love to do that. He does it every week in his article.
He's also unemployed, so...
Or underemployed. But yeah, so that said, we'll get into it. And then we'll do some picks, of course, and just leave you some final thoughts. Hollowak, any games that you caught this week?
Yeah, definitely. Look at this score line right here. Get Off My D defeated Diablos in the closest of margins, 40-38 this past week. In this one, both quarterbacks went head-to-head. Alexis Gaumont stepping in for Francis Martin had a very Francois Martin type game. 12 for 21, 217, 5 TDs, 1 INT. Jean-Félix Dalloz making a guest appearance in this one and headlining it, 4 catches for 101 yards and a TD. On the other side, Rosenblatt, stride for stride with him, 267 and 6 touchdowns. Look, this is just two of the premier offenses in this division, going toe-to-toe right before the playoffs in what looks to be a possible rematch in their given conference.
To be honest, though, I will say that either of these teams, it's so like Diablos, when they win against good teams, tends to be a blowout where just everything works well. Get Off My D, this is basically a blowout. If they win a game, it's just considered to be a blowout because they don't win by a lot of points. That's not how their team is built. They're built to be very, very efficient. Mm-hmm. So if you make mistakes, which include converts, for example, they know they will make less mistakes than you. And that's what this game came down to.
Here's something interesting also to take into this one. Diablos, known for being a highly prolific offense in this division, very, very lax defense so far this season, which traditionally isn't always the case. They're usually known for playing some stout defense. Perhaps the elevated competition in this given division has given them some trouble. However, in this one, it was the case again. It was a high-scoring shootout, but Francois Martin, not there, has struggled in recent weeks, although he had a very good beginning of the season. And I wonder if it would have been so close had Francois Martin been there this week. I think Alexis Gaumont might have outplayed their starter in this given game.
Perhaps. I will say, though, the thing about the Diablos defense, you see one key name missing on that defense, which was at the beginning of the season, and that's Marc-André Lapointe. Marc-André Lapointe is an elite defender and defensive mind. I've played with him.
I've played against him enough to know that.
Yeah, I mean we've had rivalries and so on, so you know that.
He's intense.
But he understands the game so well, and he knows what teams like to do in certain situations, just based on what he's seen in the first, second drives. A lot of times, the defenses he plays on, and this includes when he played for Darksiders, the teams would allow allow scores in the first 2 drives, but then after that, he just seemed to have an intimate knowledge of how that quarterback liked to call the game.
Yeah. Excellent intuition. Always seems to be around the ball, and whenever there's a ball overthrown to any particular receiver, it always seems to land right into his chest. So, great player, and of course, if they don't find him back in their lineup by the playoffs, that'll severely hamper their chances to make a deep run.
Green Lantern Corps, hottest team in Division D.
Ooh, are they ever? What is that, 3 in a row now?
Yeah, it's impressive. And Hyman Long, he's thrown, I want to say, 18 touchdowns and 1 interception in the last 3 weeks. That's absolutely impressive. It's funny because looking at the roster, I said, I didn't know how he was going to fit. I thought that the league had evolved beyond him. It looks to be that I was wrong, which I don't mind being wrong, by the way. I'm not Mokan. I'm okay with that. It means I've learned something if I was wrong to begin with. But a great group of guys. Also, looking at Mendy Conradashan, Max Kevin Jocelyn, who's a big dude, but speaking as a big dude, as a snapper,
nimble feet.
It's tough. It's tough to get around a snapper running a hook or a quick out when he just boxes you out. And Max Kevin's great at that. Frank and Frank Nagandi not there this week, but still using the guys they got to be able to pull out the win. And amazingly, they're not one of these teams that goes out and gets subs when they're missing players. They trust the guys they have, and they're being rewarded for that trust. They win over Badgers 33-22. Now, Jeff Rosenberg was quarterback this week.
Absolutely.
And fairly efficient game, but the 2 interceptions, is that maybe the inexperience at quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. 2 interceptions. Look, went 22 of 30, so the completion percentage is there as you'd like. 178 yards, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But here's the problem: only scored 3 touchdowns. That's not going to cut it in an FPF game, especially at this point of the season. Plus, he had the 2 critical turnovers, so obviously showed some inexperience in his incapacity to punch in the rock. But look, Kevin Smuda sighting, which is huge news for all those teams that are involved with him. He was out with a finger injury for the most part of the season, and now it seems like he was back in Division B as well with the Coyotes. So it looks like if they have him to close out the season, and they get
that's a huge difference,
and they get Josh Feeder at quarterback next week, this looks like a suddenly very strong Badgers team, and they'll put this loss to rest.
Absolutely. Having played the Badgers, I will say that their defense does seem to give a lot of cushion, and teams that are effective, which we weren't that day, will take advantage of that. But they seem to score enough that it negates the fact that they will lose time possession sometimes. They will allow a lot of points. Do you think that works come playoff time?
You know what? It's a good model, and it's... I say this because it's like a clear parallel to this team, but the Coyotes of Division B, they score in buckets. They have
it's a lot of the same personnel. That's why
but they have like an unorthodox defense where they give a lot of yards to teams if they want to take it. And what they do is it's a psychological game. It makes quarterbacks be very disciplined if they want to go and score. And the thing is, besides Div 1 and Div 2 in this league, a lot of the younger quarterbacks get itchy trigger finger, and they're eventually going to take that deep stab, even if there's coverage there, and they're going to force the turnover. And that's the similar style that Badgers play. If you wanted to, you could take 5-yard slants and hooks against them all day, but teams don't do that. And I think it will work in playoffs if they have all their pieces in place. They can make a run.
Straight out of breath, back on top, winning over TOPSZN 32-20.
TOPSZN.
I have a lot of difficulty understanding either of these two teams. I've had trouble ranking them all season. I have trouble because I think there are flaws, but I think there's immense talent at the same time. And I find those are the most difficult teams to predict in terms of how they're gonna perform. And they're also hard teams to pick against because of the amount of talent they have.
Shaq Lattimore took this game over watching it on the Game of the Week. He only had 3 catches on the game sheet. However, those 3 catches were huge. He basically caught 3 slants and turned them upfield for a combined 58 yards, a touchdown. And he jumped that hook route by Khalil Kerr once he arrived in the second half. Key to note in this game is that Vince Pisano started at quarterback. Khalil Kerr had a sudden emergency, missed the first half of the game, has been a rapidly emerging quarterback in the second half of the season, put TOPSZN on his back for the most part. Wasn't there for the first half. Obviously changed the dynamic in a huge way, otherwise what this game would have been. And for my money, Shaq Lattimore was the guy. He made plays on the slants. He made plays on defense. He had a couple of pat downs on some other balls. He single-handedly took the game over for straight out of breath in my mind. Otherwise, TOPSZN is a very formidable team.
Absolutely.
I believe in TOPSZN at this point.
And you know what? I mean, in this game, again, Vince Pisano, a Division E quarterback, a solid Division E quarterback, but this is essentially 2 divisions up from Division E.
Didn't look comfortable on camera. We saw it with our own eyes. So
and well, that's the other thing too, is that it's not his core of players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has, for example, in Division E, he has a guy like Anthony Seja, who's just a big physical receiver. That's not how TOPSZN is built. They're built with speed, athleticism, and so we saw that here. But still, I think I'm interested by both of these teams. I think they're both, despite their records, I think they're both, I don't know if what we see is completely indicative of them. I think the playoffs will be telling, and I don't know what to predict of either of them.
I'm going to say something that might be a little unpopular at this point, and it's been the direction.
Boo. Wait, you have to say it first. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Straight Out of Breath personally.
Boo.
They started off on fire at the beginning of the season, and then they lost once they went into the glut of their schedule and they started playing formidable opponents. They lost every single game, and this week they beat a team with no quarterback for the half, which is good. I'm Max Marini.
But a team with a good defense
a
nonetheless.
good core nonetheless, yes. But a team at the same time. Look at the quarterback stats. In the first half of the game, you have a quarterback who throws 20 yards and 2 interceptions on 4 completions. Pack it up into a bow and hand it off. That win is yours. If they would have found some way to lose this game, it would have been an ultimate collapse. Yeah. So I think they played well enough to get the win. But I am between these two teams, I'm buying on TOPSZN at this point.
Eagle, tell me when we're like 12-ish minutes in, so that way I know to move into the next
We're
one.
at 15.
Seriously? You're a terrible producer. Do you have any other games you want to talk about?
No, let's go on to the next topic. What do you got?
Yeah, let's go into the playoff breakdowns as Eagle brings up the playoff standings. For those of you who don't know yet, if you go to the Division D-1 tab and you hit Overview, you'll see a tab over the standings, because you'll see the standings that load up as default, but you see another one called Playoff Standings, and that'll give us the information. Of course, there's tiebreak info as well, in case you're curious about tiebreakers. We'll talk about tiebreaker info just as it comes up, because I'm guaranteed some of the tiebreakers will be
it's all written there, so
absolutely. I'm saying it's pointless for us to go over it on a weekly basis, but at the same time, if a tiebreak scenario comes up, we'll mention what the tiebreakers are.
If any of our viewers are dyslexic, they can tweet you and you'll read it out to them on a visual.
I'll read it. I'll film myself reading it to them.
Correct.
How's that?
Yes.
How's that?
Go see Peeze on the sidelines. He'll be happy to have a 20-minute discussion with you about tiebreakers after his game.
And also, I mean, that's fairly insensitive. Are you to say that people with dyslexia can't read at all and can't absorb content? Because
no,
that's not what dyslexia
you don't
is.
want them to mix up the different tiebreaks, right? And then get the order wrong.
Simon Dajny joke. Nice. That's too inside to explain. So in Conference A, hey, Get Off My D is at 7-1. They lead the standings. They are essentially clinched. Mm-hmm. I believe they have the division as well. Eagle will confirm.
I'm pretty sure of that too.
Cool. How about you? I'm stalling for you so you can find out if mathematically they're clinched. Diablos follow them at 4-3-1. Then there are Fun Boys at 5-3. Les Vergeriennes at 4-4. I read that name wrong when I first read the team name, so I'm happy they are where they are.
I know what you mean.
Badgers are 4-4. The Slumping and Awful Supply and Command at 3-4-1 are at the 6th seed. Frosty Bronson's at 3-5. They have a head-to-head coming up this week.
Yeah, absolutely. This week coming up, and big game with a lot of incentives on the line. The loser might be on the backside, staring out of the playoffs in 2 weeks' time.
Actually, not clinched, because Get Off My D play Fun Boys this week, and based on that, they could potentially leapfrog them.
Fun Boys can actually win the division?
Yes, because what can happen is Fun Boys, Get Off My D play.
They can both finish 7-3.
They can both finish 7-3, but then at that point, head-to-head tiebreak would catch them.
I can tell you there's very little chance at this point that Frosty Bronson's beats Get Off My D in week 10, so I'm pretty sure Get Off My D is safe. Like we're looking to beat you guys this week to make our playoffs.
I by the way, like, if I didn't have to be in that game, I wouldn't watch that game.
No.
It's going to be horribly boring. Green Lantern Corps jumping up, a team I was ragging on for a lot of the season at 3-5, and then a team I was praising, ICU, at 3 and falling down to 3-5. But ICU has some interesting tie breaks, which we'll get to in a sec. And Dreamville are at 2-6. Not altogether eliminated, but not in a great spot either. So let's start off with, do you think Diablos will stay at the 2 seed?
No.
Because?
No. Actually, pardon me. Everyone, pardon me. We've done this several weeks now. I should know. I think that they are going to win their division.
So therefore the 2 seed.
So therefore they will remain in the 2 seed. Let's take a look at their games regardless to see who they have on the docket. So next 2 games for Diablos. They are playing the Green Lantern Corps, the suddenly red-hot Green Lantern Corps, so that'll be interesting, and then Badgers as well. So there's a possibility of a loss in that 2 games. Maybe.
I don't like the matchup, by the way, for against Green Lantern Corps at all.
No?
I think the Green Lantern Corps have a lot of athleticism, and that's not Diablo's strength.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Peeze? I'll take that back because there is a lot of possibility for a swing here. Then you've got Vergeriennes, who are playing against Dreamville and KGP Raw. Dreamville have been wretched the past several weeks. Inconsistent roster, lacking top-notch talent. They have tanked, and this is unfortunate because a good group of guys with a lot of latent talent, but it just hasn't been realized so far this season. So Vergeriennes are gonna should win one of that game, then they'll come against the very formidable KGP Raw. And then they have the Badgers. So Badgers have 8 points as well. Badgers showdown in week 10 against the Diablos, and Badgers playing a suddenly slumping ICU this week. So I think if there's one team that might jump Diablos, I think it could be Badgers, especially if GLC can pull the upset against Diablos this week. That'll make a crazy week 10 game between those 2 teams.
So ICU,
yes,
they they have a week 10 matchup against Dreamville and week 9 matchup against Badgers. Do you think that when they play Dreamville, that will give them an opportunity to leapfrog into the playoffs?
Week 10, you mean?
Yeah, in week 10. Or do you think the move needs to happen now?
I'll tell you what. It'll absolutely give them a chance because, look, Frosty Bronson's playing supply and command this week. One team has 6, one team has 7 points. One of those teams is going to lose most likely, which is going to put them within either a tie or a half game of ICU, even if they were to lose against Badgers this week. So Badgers will certainly have a chance to win week 10 and pass, because all it will take will be for that team to lose their week 10 game as well, and then it'll be done. Actually, if they have the tiebreaker against Frosty Bronson, so they could easily jump us if we both win one game apiece in the final stretch.
Same with, ICU has a tiebreaker over supply and command. In the odd event that they have a tie, the tie, they can use the tie to get into the playoffs as well.
The tie is like a safe break for you there.
It's interesting because in the winter season, the tie seems to operate as a loss.
Yes,
it almost is a guarantee. Like, man, that tie really messed us in the end of the season. Yeah. And in the summer, because more teams make the playoffs, it's virtually a win. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how the same result can be played two different ways in two different seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm experiencing a similar situation in Division B as well, where we happen to tie a game, and that's given us a chance to leapfrog a team to get back into the playoffs. So the tie is
given that you were unable to beat Simon Dajme this week.
Given that, so we don't deserve to make the playoffs, but you never know.
In Conference B, KGPRA are at 8-0.
Mm-hmm.
They lead it and they are clinched. Question mark?
Rah!
Wait,
I'm gonna go check.
Okay. Kiwi Island are at 8-0, and I believe they are clinched as well. The two teams trailing them cannot win more than 7 games.
KGP Raw is clinched; they cannot catch.
Same with
Kiwi Island also cannot catch. So they can fight between themselves,
exactly,
though.
Can be amongst themselves. If Kiwi Island wins the last divisional game, it'll come down to points against, which are also very close.
Actually, Kiwi Island is playing KGP Raw this week.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry about that.
That's an epic game.
So yes, that game will absolutely define who will take the 1 seed, because they're basically both locked in as 1 and 2.
They've been undefeated and unbeatable for the most part of the season. They've won games where both these teams. They've won games where the offense has languished. They've won games where the defense has struggled, but yet they still won by sizable margins every game. So they're so strong overall that
week 10 will not matter. Whatever happens this week over here.
Exactly.
This week determines who gets 1 seed.
Yes, essentially.
Ooh,
yes.
Drama.
Dun, dun, dun. The thing is with Kiwi Island, I will say, and even actually I'll disagree. I don't think that they have looked invulnerable this season. There was a lull where Kiwi Island was not scoring as much, where the games were just a little tighter, and KGP had weeks where DG10 Dylan Garber not playing to the highest of the highest standard that he sets for himself. If you look at in the middle of the season, beating Go Getters by a score, beating Fun Boys by a point, beating TOPSZN by a point in week 3, like, winning 19-18 over TOPSZN, again, TOPSZN very good, far better than we thought they would be this season, but Kiwi Island is supposed to be that next level. They're supposed to be one of the elite teams in the division. So straight out of breath, and the aforementioned TOPSZN at 5-3, taking the 3 and 4 spots. Les After, who always just seem to kick around.
They're always there. Eh? They win 4 games to start the season, and they lose 4.
They are the best starting.
Yeah.
They play the best first 3 weeks of flag every season.
Absolutely. If only they could transition that to the end. Eh? That's why they never go anywhere in the playoffs. It's because they put all of their juice into the first couple of weeks, and they have none left afterwards. Yeah. Pace yourself, boys.
Global Gym Purple Cobras at 3 and 5. That's a huge disappointment for me. I've said it every week in my articles. I can't believe that this team is not playing better, but they just need to get into the playoffs and see what can happen. Go Getters at 3 and 5 as well. Backyard Bruisers now in the thick of things at 2 and 6. Zoo, a team that was left for dead, has resurrected as a bunch of zombie animals, I guess. 2 and 6. And Bro Mitzvah, it's been ugly.
It's been ugly. I hope that Zoo makes it, just simply because all the drama that they've overcome throughout the season, especially the last couple of weeks. Pat Saint-Armand has really come into his own in the quarterback position, starting to utilize his cast.
He's played quarterback in an outdoor league, I believe.
And it's usually the same core of guys, right? But how long ago was that? Does he have flag experience?
But that's why it took
it's a little bit different inside. Exactly.
And
He's a baller for sure. Like, he can play any position. He plays defense well. He's a sick receiver. And then he can easily transition to quarterback. It's taken him a little bit of time, but he's shown that. The reason I hope they make it is because you're looking at this glut of teams, 7, 8, 9, minus 80 Zoo, minus 48 Backyard Bruisers, minus 35 Go-Getters. These are all kind of ugly teams, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I want to see the underdog, make it. I'm rooting for the little guy in this one, and hopefully that's my emotional pick.
What I will say about Zoo, and I was actually very impressed having played them this season. It was hard to believe that they were a one-win team. I played them. They beat Supply and Command 40-25. What I will say about the team is Etienne Valancourt is better than I thought he was.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know he was a fast receiver. I knew he was a solid...
I never even knew who that was. I told Justin Blanchard, I was like, Etienne Valancourt dropped 100 yards on you guys. Is he a sub? He's like, no, bro. He's been playing for years with them.
He caught a ball over Semi Beg, and he caught a ball over Justin Blanchard, and that's not an easy task.
Insane.
And he's not a big dude.
Yeah, he's just a burner, though.
He's a burner, absolute burner. Good route runner as well. But on top of that, what I was really impressed by was they were up 26 at the half.
Yeah.
Then at the start of the second half, they blinked, and we were right there. It was 20-19. Supply and Command is an experienced team. We're like, all right, they're going to crumble because they don't have their quarterback, and it's going to fall apart. Nope. They came back strong. They were confident. We were the ones that crumbled in the face of adversity. And it's like, had I given you that scenario before the game, everyone would have said, well, that's the kind of game Supply and Command will win. Instead, it was the kind of game Zoo actually took it to us.
And they've got momentum on their side now going into the final stretch, whereas the other teams kind of, Go-Getters lost 2 in a row, Backyard Bruisers have lost a couple in a row. They're backing out down the line while Zoo's coming in with full momentum. So I think there's a good potential for Zoo to jump it there. I hope you guys crumble again this week versus Frosty Bronsons.
Man, it's possible. So Bromitzva faces Les Affreux and Go-Getters. Are they done?
Yes. They've shown no rhythm. They've shown no signs of life. Daoust has been, even when he's on this season, when he's producing 200 yards and maybe 4 touchdowns, his team still can't find a way to muster up the stops requisite for the win. It's just like I said last week on the program, there's some kind of internal virus that they're experiencing, and they don't have the solution for it yet, and they're going to go down with it this season. Go on, reshuffle and come back strong in the winter season.
The deadly Motaba virus, perhaps.
Perhaps indeed. Motaba virus.
So you think Zoo are going to charge in over Backyard Bruisers?
Who are Backyard Bruisers facing? Let's break them down here. Backyard Bruisers are a team who they came off a huge win versus Go-Getters this week, 39-26. So I was wrong when I said they
got
lost
Zoo week 9 and TOPSZN in the last game of the season, week 10.
I thought Backyard Bruisers were going to turn it around when they beat Straight Out of Breath in week 5, 38-35. But then, they had a tough game on hand against Fun Boys, which they lost narrowly, and then they lost by a score again to Global Gym Purple Cobras, and finally beat Go-Getters. So we swept them back under the rug after those 2 losses, but they've been around the past couple of weeks. So this is a team that's also been swinging the last couple of weeks, and it's been competing, and now they have Zoo. So this is the game right here: Zoo versus Backyard Bruisers. Whoever wins that game is going to qualify for the playoffs.
Well, that's it. So that'll be the one, right? That'll be the deciding point. Any chance that, let's say for posterity, it remains the same. Bruisers win, Zoo loses. Any chance
for posterity?
Yeah,
for future generations.
Yeah.
Okay.
The future generations in 2 weeks from now.
He uses big words.
Okay.
It is for posterity. It's for the future.
You are correct.
I know.
I wasn't sure if posterity meant for good looks or for future there. But for the future, we'll say.
Yeah.
For future us.
Which are very good looking nonetheless. So this has to be the best looking podcast by far.
Oh, for sure.
Except I'm not on camera.
Agreed.
So let's say it remains the same.
Yeah.
Backyard Bruisers beat Zoo. And Global Gym and Go-Getters remain where they are. Is there any chance that Zoo can jump up and replace one of those 2 teams?
That Zoo can jump up and replace one of those
after having lost that?
Oh, having lost to Backyard Bruisers?
But let's say they beat Global Gym Purple Cobras in week 10. And the Go-Getters lose out as well.
So what's the tiebreak scenario between Go-Getters and Zoo now? Is there any head-to-head? Let's take a quick glance.
Well, if
they haven't played each other.
If Zoo beats Global Gym Purple Cobras, they have to head-to-head. They don't have a matchup against Go-Getters, so it'll come down to divisional record where Zoo Zoo actually has a tiebreaker over Go-Getters as well.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. So Global Gym Purple Cobras would lose out 2 games. So would Go-Getters. Backyard Bullies would beat Zoo, and then Zoo would win their final game, and all 4 teams would have 6 points essentially if the Bruisers lost their last game. And we're saying which 2 out of those 4 teams with 6 points is going to make it.
So it would be Backyard.
You really put us on the spot here for some complicated math. Let's ask the derivative specialist, Eagle, on Master Control, to figure that out.
I'm not doing this live. There's no way.
So Backyard Bruisers would make it. Global Gym Purple Cobras would still manage to hang on because it would be a 4-way tie. Zoo would hang on because the tiebreak would come down to divisional record, and Go-Getters do not have a divisional win.
Respect. I like that. I was just caught up. I'm looking at these crazy profile pictures here for the top. Look at the hair on Rosenblatt and Devin Dost. But I'm glad
either a lot of hair or no hair in the week leaders.
There's no hair over here on Anthony Lazara, and then moderate hair on Eric Mirano. So I'm glad that you're doing the math while I was doing that.
Yeah. You just glazed off. I used to teach math, by the way.
Oh.
You look like one of my students.
Wonderful.
Eagle, give us the games.
So we're going to go into the games of the week.
Absolutely.
I figure you guys like that, so might as well do it.
Love to do it twice.
It's not as good when Chapman does it, but it's okay.
Yeah, but that's basically the
games
only
of the
thing that
week.
Chapman does well. So
He looks stuff up.
all right, and first game we got Global Gym Purple Cobras versus TOPSZN.
Oh, there's no spread on this one? What's going on?
No spreads, because they don't make sense.
Baby, shake and bake. Where's the 20.5 spread. Give me TOPSZN with their full core. Global Gym has been 2 up and 2 down. TOPSZN, when they're all there, have been extremely consistent over the past month. So I'm going to take TOPSZN if they have a full healthy roster in this one.
TOPSZN have more athleticism. Global Gym Purple Cobras would need to win this one in terms of using their X's and O's. I don't think Eric Maiorino is the best of the quarterbacks that play on that team to do that. So I take TOPSZN.
Green Lantern Corps minus an E versus Diablos.
They're not dead.
I know, Corps minus an E.
You're up.
Corpse minus an E, okay. And against Diablos?
Diablos, correct.
I'm going to start. I'll take Green Lantern Corps. I think it's a bad matchup for Diablos, and Green Lantern Corps look really good. And my God, Hyman Long looks great.
Well,
very handsome man.
I don't know how he did it. He just turned the season around. He figured out the secret formula that works for them.
He stocked them all with.
I'm gonna stick with Diablos. I'm gonna say that the veterans pull this one out. I think it's gonna be extremely close though.
Go-Getters straight out of breath.
Okay, so Go-Getters versus straight out of breath. Go-Getters need this one. However, Go-Getters also guaranteed me last week that they were winning out and then proceeded to lose their very next game.
It doesn't always happen though.
Yeah.
Guarantee we're not losing again.
Yeah.
Loss.
I know. And put it on air and everything. So I'm going to take straight out of breath because Go-Getters already lied to me.
I am not yet scorned by Go-Getters. I think this is a trap game for straight out of breath. Expect Jordan Moses to make a big play to end the game. It's going to be a close one, but Go-Getters will win.
Les Affreux versus Bruh Mitzvah.
Give me...
Peeze first.
Peeze up on the mic. Go ahead, Peeze.
Peeze up on the mic. I will take Les Affreux. Just its consistency against the opposite of that. Inconsistent's not even good enough to explain how bad Dave Daou and Bramiso has been. Because like you said, when he's good, someone else is bad. When he's bad, the rest of the team's doing fine. It's not good enough to win. Les Affreux will do just enough.
I think the cookie will crumble and Les Affreux will somehow drop this game versus Bramitzvah. It's not going to be pretty.
You just want more playoff scenarios.
I want more playoffs. Next week, you bring the scientific calculator out here. We're going to make a fun show of it. But I'll take Bramitzvah.
One of the games of the week, in my opinion, we got Get Off My D versus Fun Boys. Hollow call it.
Oh. Wow. Get Off My D versus Fun Boys. Having played Fun Boys, they are, I'm going to give a little background to it. They're an extremely talented team. They have one receiver, essentially. Kyle Smith is a beast.
Yep.
And
former Division 1 player.
And he it's apparent in the way he plays and breaks it on his routes and everything. And the quarterback knows how to find him. However, give me Get Off My D because I think that they're a very well-rounded team and they'll be able to eliminate the one-player factor.
Get Off My D will blow them up by 2 points.
By 2 scores or 2 points? They'll blow them up by 2 points?
Yeah, because that's how Get Off My D blows up.
Because I see.
Because when you play against them, you never feel like it's close. You never actually feel like you have a chance in the game. It's the most bizarre feeling. They feel like suicide.
Yeah. They feel like suicide. Fun boys are very good, though. I'll give them that, too.
I look at Eagle's face whenever I say stuff like that.
I was trying to like play it off, and there's just no way to get around that.
Nope.
I've compared him to a toilet this season as well.
That's not bad though,
because suicide.
Yeah, at least
tweet all your hate mail to Peeze
at Peeze FPF, and to get me fired, remember to tweet at RobCamFPF.
Dreamville versus Les Verts Etienne. Peeze, your call.
Dreamville's been a disaster. LVA steady, and Chris Rivet is a competent quarterback. He will make Dreamville pay for their incompetence.
Chris Rivet subbed in a Div B game for the horrible Brocasian team. Unfortunately, they're in the wrong division, and it worked very poorly for him. So I think he's going to come out hungry. I think he's going to tear into Dreamville.
He's not the kind of quarterback you can just drop into a system.
No.
He needs to develop a system, and that's LVA struggled early in the season because this isn't his team.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're improving as they're learning the spacing, because spacing in a Chris Rivet system, because he uses a lot of floods, is largely important. And now that they're learning the spacing, this is becoming a much better team.
I'll take LVA as well.
Agreed.
All right. In the next game of the week, we have Badgers versus Insane Clown Union (ICU).
Is that what it stands for?
No, of course not.
Is that what it stands for? That's pretty.
I can make it stand for that.
I think I like that.
We should change that.
It's
on
official
the website.
now. Hollow.
Badgers versus ICU. ICU have been slumping so badly the last couple of weeks, but at the same time, they were so hot before that. So it's like you take steaming hot water and drop it into an ice cold bucket. There's a lot of steam involved in here. Give me ICU with all the smoke and mirrors to pull out the win.
I don't like Union, so Badgers.
Frosty Bronson Supply and Command.
Frosty Bronson.
The worst game of this week.
The worst game in the history of FPF.
It's going to be like a 1918
bunch
game.
of jokers tripping over their own laces and uncoordinated buffoons.
How many pitchers of beer are riding on this game right here?
I'm good for pitcher.
All right, pitcher it is.
Cheap bastard.
I already owe GM Collectors like 3 or 4 pitchers, but tack on to Peeze there.
Nice. We're going to send bill collectors after you.
Next game.
Eagle, who's winning the game?
You got to take Frosty, man.
There you go, buddy.
You got to take Frosty.
You got to take Frosty.
Jerk. We're not friends anymore. I'm going to tweet you angry stuff about your life.
That's fine.
It's like, which team is worse?
We got KGP Raw.
KGP
Island, the Raw. Kiwi Island. This is battle for first seed.
Well, are you up?
I'm going to do this just to irritate Dan Lazara. I think he's going to have an awful game. He's going to make 6 mistakes. KGPRA will score 6 touchdowns on all those mistakes and win by 2 scores.
If for those of you who have tuned in throughout the course of the season, you know very well my scorn for KGP Raw and my love for Kiwi Island. So I am sticking to that. I will take Kiwi Island to get the win.
KGPRA had Jawan Edgehill on the roster to begin the season.
Yeah.
And I think it did the division a great service that he's not on the roster.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For the season.
Well, they have the guy with the coolest nickname in FPF, Phil the Thrill Cutler.
And in the last game of the week, we got Backyard Bruisers versus Zoo, Battle of the Basement.
I'm up, right?
Correct.
Okay, give me Zoo, man. They want to get it back into this playoff bracket. They're on a 2-game hot streak. Bruisers are hot as well, but I'm going to take Zoo to pull out the scrappy victory.
Kevin Marshall will get in Chris Pendenz's kitchen and make it very difficult for him. Kevin Marshall's a very good rusher that we don't talk enough about. Give me Zoo.
I think it's going to be interesting. You're going to have Pat Saint-Amand versus Rich Humes, battle of 2 of the best overall players in this division.
Agreed. Do you not know Will Clark? Are you too young for Will Clark?
Yeah,
baseball
absolutely.
Player? Yeah, he was Will the Thrill. That's where Mokan got his nickname. All of Mokan's
nicknames are derivative.
Yeah, he's the old white crusty dude. Is Mokan. But yeah, join us in a second. We'll be back for the D2 version of Division D's Calling the Audible. Welcome back, everyone. We are back. I was not listening to the count, even though Eagle did count us in. I am subbing from Ocon, so take my subbing for the reason that I seem to be a little out of rhythm here. A little slow. No, that's genetic.
You know when you're missing a player on your team and you bring in a sub and he doesn't really gel with the team?
Yeah.
This is this guy.
Yeah, it's like that guy. Somebody's like, hey, I know somebody. And like, all right, bring him in. And he happens to be a total bust. You know?
Yeah, I know. I'm probably a total bust. If I wasn't in charge of the media, I wouldn't be with the media anymore. That's it, Holowak. It's the first time we work together.
Absolutely.
How have you found it so far?
I love it. It's
your first
absolutely
Peeze
great.
experience?
My first Peeze experience. I've been waiting for this since I began in FPF media, and I have to say that now that it's here, nothing but negative things to say. I'm gonna have to put up a forum after this, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of people join in.
This is my second time working with Peeze, and
Not your
arguably,
second time?
I mean this season rather, and arguably it's way better than the last time because the last time we ran an hour late. Now we're only about 10 minutes.
I was early
late.
this time.
You were.
I'm not working right now.
Shocker.
So we just as we get into actually there was one other time, and I'll tell this anecdote quickly before we get into Division D. We did one podcast together. You were a guest on the podcast one week. It was back when we did the podcast in my condo.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful.
The reason we don't remember it is both of us drank a lot in that podcast, and then we were given a directive to not get drunk during podcasts anymore.
After that show, huh?
Yeah, so we're very professional
that was
nowadays.
my first podcast. That was a long time ago.
That's back when the podcasts were a little more rogue than they are now.
I was in school at the time. I remember you had messaged me. I was in Hurley's bar having a pint, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to bring the whiskey. Brought the whiskey, and then we got into the show, and the rest was history.
Yeah. Or so Rob hopes. The Ravens took on the War Pigs in Division D2. Ravens is a team I'm intimately familiar with. War Pigs is a team I got to see a couple times this season. Are you surprised War Pigs put up 33 points in this game?
No. War Pigs are very solid Division D2 team. They've been in so many close battles throughout the course of this season. Most of the time, they've come out just behind in those games. So you have to sympathize with them a bit, just because they're a little bit, I guess, maybe a little bit outdated in a way, but they just seem to not be able to win the close battle. And this week, you know what? I'm not at all surprised that they put a good game up against the Ravens, the team on steroids, as we formerly call them. Corey Woleski is always going to ball. Alex David had another good game. It was just an all-around good game. Ravens are the better team, though.
What's more surprising, Mathieu Flag Jesus Hull having 1 catch for 4 yards, or Adam Parasuco 8 catches for 69 yards?
Oh, Adam Parasuco 8 catches for 69 yards. Absolutely.
He is. I've played with him, by the way. He's a very good defensive player who doesn't get a lot of stats because he locks up his guy. He's a guy you like using in a 4-1 corner lock. He's like using in man. He's just very fast. But man, when he gets the ball in space, he can really take off. So I'm happy to see him get some use on offense.
Nice guy. He has a very nice smile.
He does. He's very charming.
Very charming smile.
And on the other side, Guillaume Tremblay, a more familiar name, 4 catches, 91 yards, 3 touchdowns. So great game for a lot of the key players in that game.
Tough loss for the War Pigs, though. That does put them at 2-5-1, a little bit behind the 8 ball. We will examine that at the later portion of this show and see what their odds are of making the playoffs, but definitely a game that they would have liked to
That's some great teasing right there.
Have we asked ourselves what exactly qualifies as a war pig as opposed to a regular pig?
I believe it's a reference to the Black Sabbath song, War Pigs.
But what about an actual war pig? Do you give them like armor and a sword? Or?
I mean, it's a political term. I don't want to get into that because then I'm going to get more angry tweets about people who haven't read a book in 10 years. And
do they have a helmet? Do they charge into battle on the front lines? Or
yes, it's about war profiteering. Anyway, doesn't matter.
so you use the carcasses for pork chops afterwards?
Yes, I love pork chops. That's what the team name is about. I love pork chops. Yeah, they're delicious.
That would be a good team name for them next year.
Pork chops.
Yeah, I love pork chops.
I love pork chops. Trinity beat Les Montagnards.
Wow,
26-20.
Yeah. Trinity.
Does this change what you believe about Les Montagnards?
No, I'll tell you. Because Fred Vien wasn't there. Fred Vien was not there. At some point, you have to say, look, Fred Vien missed so many games this season for them. He didn't miss so many. He missed a few, maybe 2 or 3 games. But you're going to have to say, this team will have to learn how to win without Fred Vien. But he is a staple of their...
It's like saying... win without one of the 20 best receivers in FPF.
Yeah, Captain America.
Of all divisions. I'm not talking about Division D.
So they're one-dimensional is what you're saying.
Without Fred Vien, they become a little bit one-dimensional, particularly on on defense. He is their defense for a large part. He's so rangy in the secondary, can cover so much ground. He takes away half the field by himself whenever he wants. So without him, they become a little more vulnerable, and that's exactly what happened in this game. Look at this. Jean-Félix Marquis, 2 touchdown passes. Wasn't a pretty game, but his defense, bootstrapped, pulled him through. They got the stop that mattered, pick 6 by Guillaume Foucault, and they pulled out the big win. Good for Trinity. I have a tough time saying that, let's give a pass to Montagnards because Fred Vien wasn't there, because I feel you have to play with who you have. But I'm just going to say it. You got to, I'd love to see a rematch.
It's hard to win without your best player.
It is. This is 2, 3, maybe 4 games. You can't keep saying every time, oh, well, Montagnards didn't have Fred Vien today. It's like it's happened too many times for it to be regular. And maybe he has very good reason for missing. But we have to assess this Montagnards team without Fred Vien. And they took a lump versus Trinity this week.
Who's Trinity's best receiver? Because they seem to be the opposite. They seem to have basically Jean-Félix Marquis just has the ability to find guys and get guys open, and he throws a great deep ball, albeit not his best game. But when you look, there just always seems to be guys catching a lot of balls, and someone else will score the touchdowns, someone else will make a key catch on 4th down, someone else will average a whole bunch of yards. It's interesting. I love the way this team is built, but who would you say is their number 1 guy?
The number 1 is definitely Vincent Marquis. He's having the best season for them this year, and he's also got that inherent chemistry with his brother. Look, when you're looking at guys like Alexandre Jubenville, Alexandre Samson, these guys are just talented all-around two-way players, some of the absolute premier two-way players in this division. But in terms of pure offense, I'm going to say they feed the ball to Vincent Marquis. The more they get it to him, the better it is for them.
It's interesting how some teams are built where there's like that 1 or 2 players who just kind of dominate, and then others that are kind of even around the board. How you plan against it defensively, it's just you play your system and then you just hope you get the win, whereas another one you have to shut down the 1 or 2 guys, and if you don't, that's it, that's the game.
Trinity, sorry to interrupt. Trinity just, it seems like we alluded to this last week on the show as well. They're a team that thrives right now in this lower division, but their style of play is very risky. Mm-hmm. They air out a lot of balls. They don't have a developed short game.
The first time I saw JF Marquis play,
yeah,
I said he reminds me of when Fred Morissette started playing in FPF. It just loves to throw deep, and again, I mean, you saw as he moved up in the divisions, he had to start checking it down, and
but he did it well though. He developed well into like a poised.
Absolutely, but he had to.
There's other guys you can point to and say, well, maybe this, like the JF Marquis development curve might take this path, and it would be somebody.
No, I just mean the initial style of play and the way the ball explodes out of his hand.
Yeah,
I mean, it's beautiful. When the ball leaves his hand, it's. I don't even know if he's a natural quarterback, but. There's something special when the ball leaves his hand. It just looks beautiful, and it leaves his hand with such power. It's impressive.
For me, the defense is ferocious on this team.
That too,
and
yeah.
I think they're the backbone and the staple of this roster, and that's what keeps them so competitive every week.
I said the first time I saw them. I said Antoine Dassault-Leclerc is one of the most talented players in FPF.
Is that the
and
guy
he's playing on Montreal's finest?
So, I mean, wow, that's the kid. Eh? He looks amazing. Yeah. He looks amazing on that team. And
but they're physical. They're fast.
Good ball.
Watch the unofficial game of the week this week. You actually see him shine. It's pretty cool.
And he makes the game-winning touchdown.
So
on a pinball play.
Kudos to Trinity. I didn't think personally they would beat Montagnards last week. I'm going to say it right now. And they won the game. So good for them. And it looks like it's going to be a bright future for them. And I think they're going to have learned from their first round exit in last year's playoffs and really make sure that they staple down and that they're ready for this year come playoff time, which is in just a few short weeks.
Absolutely. Lobster's delicious, but ties taste like bass. Lobster dinner ties 39-39 over Warriors. Eagle enjoying my wordplay a little bit. I saw that smirk.
It's cute because there was lobster season recently, and now that they're gone, I'm regretting it.
Yeah, because it's $15.99 a goddamn pound. Although salmon's the same goddamn price. How's that even possible?
Yeah.
How's salmon $13.99 a pound?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Where are you shopping?
Anywhere, dude. I'm telling you, the price of salmon
got very expensive.
I work in a cooking school. I can tell you, the price of salmon around Canada has skyrocketed. It doesn't even make sense.
Salmon used to be cheap. Now it's crazy.
Yeah. You should go to PA. PA is a good grocery
Beef
store.
too is actually expensive now, I find.
Beef has increased as well.
Yeah.
Beef and chicken. The new regular price for chicken is $5.99 pound.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
that's it.
Weird.
That's it. Pork is the only way to go.
Yeah.
Get yourself.
Thank you, Quebec.
Get some
You
more.
guys are confusing me because I usually price gauge my groceries in terms of kilos.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know. How
So
to
when
do
you're saying $5.99 a pound, I'm like, how many kilos
No.
is that?
No, you got to stock up on your war pigs.
Well, I'll
it's
tell you
close to
one
$12, $13 a kilo for chicken as a regular
Oh,
price.
that's too expensive.
Crazy.
No, don't
It's
buy it if it's
crazy.
over $8.80.
Can you tie a chicken?
What?
Can you tie a chicken?
Trust a chicken?
Tie
Yes.
a chicken.
But listen, one thing we can
Tie.
all agree on is that lobster
Like a game,
Lobster
like this
tastes-
game.
Oh man.
lobster tastes best with butter, and that's exactly what Jonathan Brown is. He slapped the butter down on this game.
He
6
did throw 3
touchdown
interceptions
passes.
though.
He did throw 3 interceptions, yes, but
The
he
ball
put
slipped in his hand like butter.
the ball slipped out of his hand. He put 3 buttery passes into the hands of Francois Hogue for 79 yards and 3
And 3
touchdowns.
at the hands of Simon Deschamps.
And 3 into the hands of Simon Duchesne as well, or maybe into the pecs of Simon Duchesne more accurately, because he's such a muscular dude. But Jonathan Brown had a very good game. Jonathan Brown.
Jonathan Brown.
And I'm happy Lobster Dinner stuck up with the Warriors. The Warriors look like the big bad bullies of this division for a while, actually. Michael Soleimani. So Michael Soleimani is Soleimani. He's having an excellent season, and he continued his excellence once again this week. 224 yards, 6 TDs, 1 INT. We harp on the Warriors on this program week in, week out. Mo has a problem with the way they finish games. I have a problem with
Most thing is like you've played one season FPF. You lost in the playoffs. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Nope. That's just you lost the
essentially
game.
That's essentially how Mo breaks down teams.
Oh
It's very
God,
accurate.
it's the worst.
Yeah, you have to give respect where it's due. They've been playing hard every week. Look at these guys. Angelo Moralatos, another 1 touchdown game.
He's the receiver of the Mediterranean.
Stefano Soleimani, another touchdown. They just have guys across the board. Peter Janis, 3 touchdowns. They all contribute, and that's what's nice about this team. They all step up. They all play their role. Nobody wants to be the hero and shine. Nobody puts himself above the team, and they're combative each week. This week, I'm glad Lobster Dinner was able to stick around with them because I seriously thought the Warriors had the edge going into the game.
Absolutely, and we're running a little short on time, so we're going to get into the playoff breakdown as Eagle brings it up behind me once again. If you're looking for playoff standings, you click on the Division D2 tab on the FPF website, which is, I hope you know by now, flagplusfootball.com, and then you visit right over the division, right next to division standings. There's a tab that says playoff standings, and that takes us to the page that you should be seeing on the screen.
Internet's a little slow. Hold on.
On the screen, we need a screen to see what's on the green.
We need a screen to see what's on the screen. Absolutely.
It's in the plan.
I know.
All right, we're
I
here.
was there
We're
at that
here.
meeting.
We're here.
We need a green screen to see what's on the green screen. That's what
You don't need a green screen. You need a screen.
We need a green screen behind you, just so we can put the graphics behind you. We choose what goes behind you.
That would be funny.
That'd be awesome.
I can only imagine like a video of like a leopard like biting at me or something.
It'll be eagles soaring through the Grand Canyon, you know? Like,
I like that. That'd be nice. Thank you.
So Trinity leads the way in Conference A at 7-1, with the Warriors at 6-1. Interestingly, 2 Division 6 teams moving up. Well, I guess Trinity played in Division 5 already as well, but just to say, 2 teams that started last spring in Division E, now moving up into Division D2 and being at the top of the division. All Hooks behind them at 5-3, still preaching, still kicking around at 4-3-1. They're kind of conference. We talked about Les Affreux in Division D1. They're kind of the equivalent in Division D2. Lobster Dinner at 4-3-1 as well. Vikings love ties 3-2-3. I've never seen a team with 3 ties in a season before. And Buffalo Wild Wings 4-4.
3 points, man.
ETC now with the arrival of Juwan Edgehill 2-5-1. Red Sharks at 1-7, Black Knights 1-7. Are Red Sharks and Black Knights done? And is it because both teams are designated by their color?
Yeah, that's absolutely the reason. One thing that caught my attention, you said, is still preaching is similar to the Affreux of Division D1. I would disagree with that. I think still preaching are a team that was searching for an identity coming into the season. They were in Division 4, I believe, in the winter season.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone through in
No, they were Division 5A.
5A?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
another iteration of them that was in Division 4 as well.
Yeah.
But they've gone through an enormous amount of quarterback turnover. There was Nicolas Soro, there was Alexis Labonte, and now there's Patrice Lindor.
But don't you think that, like, if they just got a quarterback, Pat Lindor, Nick Sato, Alexis Labonte is a ridiculous receiving core.
Absolutely. It's
and Logan Rubidoux, again, no one knows, but very talented. Vladimir Piros as well. There's so much talent on this team.
Absolutely. It's a team that is stacked, and they just need a quarterback. But it seems like either they're stubborn and they want to like develop one of their own into the quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback.
Or they just didn't find one.
They don't have someone who's low enough rated to play who fits.
It is hard. I can understand.
It is hard to unless you already happen to know someone.
Yeah,
it's difficult. Nick plays with us in the Home for the Hollandaise in Division C, so and I know Nick very well. So we've talked about it, and that's why he was giving it a shot last season, and Alexi as well. But Pat Lindor's looked fine.
He's looked fine. Yeah, he's looked even better than fine at times.
Well, I mean, he looked fine. He's a very attractive man.
Oh yeah, and he looks like a guy who smells really good. You know,
he does.
He does. I don't know if he smells good.
Him.
Oh, you coached
I coached with him, and it was like first thing in the morning. It was like, how do you smell this good this early in the morning?
He just looks like one of those dudes.
He's always fresh, man. But in all seriousness, I love the talent on this team, but I think they're a quarterback away from really being contender.
From being real competitor, yes. However, their defense is strong enough to keep them interesting in these playoffs. This is a team that you look at could win a first-round matchup if they face maybe a 5 or 6 seed, and then they might even be in play to upset a second-round matchup if they have a very shut-down defensive game. So this is a team that can put a lot of traps into the Division A bracket. However, I don't think that they're a team that's ultimately going to go to the finals, but that's okay.
Buffalo Wild Wings were a team I thought would be the Buffalo Wild Wings in this season, but I've watched. I do try to make an effort, by the way, to watch all the teams in the divisions I cover.
Mokan would know how spicy the wings are because he's the one who tried them. He ate them all. Yeah,
I do try to watch. So I cover right now Division A, B, Division E, Division D. So I cover over 100 teams. I do try and watch every team once. Which is about all the time I can commit without getting pre-divorced from my girlfriend.
Once in how long? Once in your lifespan?
No, once during the course of the
season. Wow.
But I've actually had the chance to see Buffalo Wild Wings play twice.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very impressed with Marc-Alexandre Piet. He throws a very nice catchable ball, nice simple concepts. He does tend to break from the discipline, and that's what gets him to turn the ball over.
That's it.
Because if he plays his simple game plan and throws nice catchable passes in the flats, that's something he does well. Eagle, you mentioned last week that quarterbacks that have a long ball can develop to throw a short ball. I don't think it's that easy. I think it takes a lot of intelligence and play calling to be able to effectively throw the short ball, and it takes time to develop that. And Marc-Alexandre Piet has that. Yeah. He has an impressive ability to call and scheme guys open in the flats where guys are jumping and expecting you to throw. So I'm impressed by that. One thing I will say about Buffalo Wild Wings, if you're playing them in the playoffs, because it's Nick Bellow's team, make sure that the players on the team are the players on the roster, and he hasn't snuck someone onto the team.
Wow. So. And Piet's only in his second season. Piet's in his second season, so he still has room to grow.
Oh, I like him a lot.
We've been a little bit rough on him in the Buffalo Wild Wings on this program, and by we, I mean I. Simply
but
because...
have you actually, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but have you watched them play?
Oh, of course, yeah. Okay. I've passed by I haven't watched the full game, but I've seen them on the field on a couple of occasions this season. So I didn't get to see the entirety of this team and the way they devise a full game scheme, but I've seen the way that they look, and that's what I've judged my basis on. And it seems like just like that, like the offense is a little bit messy at times, and you're not going to get away with a messy offense in FPF.
But that's what I mean. Like it seems like they're marching down the field, and it looks good. It looks like it's clicking, and then there's a play that's just weird and doesn't make sense, and it's picked off in the red zone. But why? Why did you do that? Like you had it working. So I think it's overthinking. I think if he just simplifies it and he goes with his simple game plan. He has the ability. He understands the concepts well enough. Just keep doing it. Yeah. It works. And he has a strong enough arm to do it.
The hardest thing, this is what separates the great quarterbacks, the Division 1 top tier against the lower ones. The hardest thing to do is to have a discipline, to not take that itchy trigger finger shot, and to keep checking down the hooks until the defense begs you to take that shot, and then you'll take it and you'll get it. That's the hardest thing to do at quarterback, and because you just want to score. That's your natural inclination. Is I just want to score. I want to score as fast as possible, and you're going to push the ball into into space, but you just remain disciplined, it'll be like the change of your life.
In my ill-fated quest to improve as quarterback, I spoke a lot with Marco Massiotto in the offseason, and he told me, he said, because he had watched me play 2-3 games last season, we just happened to be sharing a field, and he said, you take too many shots downfield for no reason. He says, you need to just punish teams when they make a mistake, but you don't need to throw a ball deep more than 2 or 3 times a game.
Yeah.
And this is from a guy with one of the strongest arms in FPF.
Yeah. One of the guys with the weakest arms in FPF, but one yourself, one of the softest.
Yeah, I know, but that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
So why are you taking shots? It's mind-boggling. Why are you taking shots?
It's stronger than me.
But absolutely correct. And Peeze, I'm ashamed of you. You should have more discipline than that.
I don't.
Maybe next time.
That's why I have weight issues as well.
Nothing worse than a horrible game at quarterback. You go home and scarf some ice cream down.
No, for me, it's more like 18 beers. But I'll pour them all into a bowl so it feels like ice cream. ETC, do they hold on to the last spot?
Yes. Is
it because of the other 2 teams, or is it because
No. It's because of ETC, and it's because of the life that John Edgehill has injected into these guys. Look, these guys were new to the league. They were aggressive. They're a team that brings a lot of energy. They just needed that one guy who kind of can show them the way, the prophet, if you will. And John Edgehill, despite being a guy with maybe 2 or 3 seasons under his belt, he is that prophet. He's showing them the way. He's bringing everybody in line with how a proper flag game should be played. And he's just, in his experience, in his leadership, is just putting everybody in a place where they're able to show that true talent they have. ETC is blossoming right now, and they're going to make the playoffs because of good play.
He's also a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah,
opportunity is the wrong word. I had the absolute privilege of coaching him in FPF Junior, and I when I saw him play, I said, "This is the best player I've ever seen."
Wow,
he's and his personality makes it all the better because he's the nicest dude in the world. Great guy, great head on his shoulders, I play with him in Division C. He has that effect where he comes onto the team and he breathes life.
Yeah,
we were 0-5.
Now you won 2
in the last 3.
Yeah,
and the thing is that having him on the team, you just feel like you have a chance.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so it's, even though he's not playing his natural position, he's just a phenomenal athlete, and he has this magnetic ability to bring the team together.
He's a natural winner, right? And some guys are just born winners, and they carry it along with them, and he's one of them. Even though at his young age, you can see that that's clear as day, and he's doing that for ETC.
Did he win FPF Junior?
He did. He was removed from my team because he was too strong to have him on our team, and then he quarterbacked against us in the final game, and he drove me insane because I thought I had a game plan to plan against them, and it did not work at all. So all the credit to him. There's no limits to what he can do, and for ETC, I'd be scared of facing them in the playoffs. On the other side, Ravens are 7-1. Montagnards are 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty much final?
It depends who they play, right? They're only 1 point off.
You check Ravens, I'll check Montagnards.
I'll take. Oh, good, because I clicked on Ravens.
Montagnards have All Hooks and War Pigs, and Ravens have.
Do you mean to explain to you the political realities of War Pigs?
No, thank you.
All right.
Smoking on the Lala and Big Fun Party Mix.
Correct,
8.
Yes.
So what was that? All Hooks and War Pigs. Ravens just need to win basically one out of those, and if the Montagnards were to lose one also.
Well, but Ravens are clinched though to be one of the top 2 seeds.
Absolutely.
So
was that what you're asking me, or are you asking me if there's going to be a switch between the 1 and 2?
Kind of 2-part question.
Ravens are absolutely clinched because Big Fun Party Mix has ties, so they would not break the win criteria, which is the highest one, even if they were to catch up.
Who's higher on the food chain, Eagles or Ravens?
Eagles by far.
Oh.
Although technically Ravens would prey on the carcasses of the War Pigs.
Oh, so War Pigs are at the bottom.
But wait, so the War Pigs are dead? Oh, because the pork chops. Yeah. My mistake.
I'll give it to the Ravens. I think the Ravens will maintain the 1 spot in the first part of your question. I think that I like their games on slate, Smoking on the Lala, and who was that other team that they were playing? I think that, but regardless, I think they'll hold on to the 1 spot. Whether you finish first or second doesn't really matter until the conference finals, when you get to decide if you want to start with the ball or not. So it's not really that much of a huge huge difference, depending who you ask. I'll take Ravens. And the second part of your question, yes, I do think that the standings are set. I think both of these teams will win their conferences, and they will remain the top 2 seeds. Do you see anything else happening, shaking up this establishment?
Nope, not at all. So then following that, this big fun party. Well, because Ravens already clinched in Montagnard, I don't see them losing another game the rest of the way. Big fun party mix 8.
Montagnard have clinched anyways, so.
They've clinched as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, yes. Done.
Done.
Conversation over.
That's why you're the master, because your answer is so succinct and mine was like long-winded, you know.
But dude, look, you're smart. You're smarter than me, so I know the less I say, the better I look. Which Mokan hasn't learned yet. Big Fun Party Mix 8 are 4-2-2. Road Runners are 4-3-1. A team that I gave no forking chance to was are at 4-4 and
Nice.
5th seed. How did you guys not get that till week 6? By the way,
No, it was about week 3, and I said it out loud, and I'm like, oh, I understand.
I never
mean, it's
got
not
it.
clever, but it's obvious.
I just every time I see it, I just think of a Norfolk, and then I stop there. I don't even think of what enchant. I'm like, Norfolk, neat.
Goofy Goobers 3-4-1.
That's a surprising team for me. There, Peeze. Goofy Goobers. They've been on a hot streak lately. What did they? Let me
Well, it
check.
surprised me that they started so slow, and then
Really?
it surprised me that they went away from Styles Trudeau at quarterback, and it surprised me that they're improving without
worked
Styles
for them.
Trudeau at quarterback.
They've won 2 in a row. They won 2 games and then they tied. So they're 2-0-1 in their last 3. What a huge turnaround.
Which Jack Zergoidis is quarterback,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he's a fantastic quarterback, isn't he? Especially at this competitive level in FPF. He had a big season with Obamacare in the winter, and now he's kind of slummed it down a bit for lesser competition all around, and he's just lighting it up every week. So
Then Warpigs at 2-5-1. Smoking Out Lala is the team that surprises me being so low. Not only the fact that they have one of the best emerging quarterbacks in Avery Lala, but also like just a lot of good talent on the team. The problem is there's been a lot of inconsistency on the roster. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players with 1 game played on the roster. Too many subs. That never works out.
Avery missed 2 games and then they forfeited 1 game. So this is his first game back in a month, and look what he did. He's 6 touchdowns, 0 INTs. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better game, and they lost by 1 point to Norfolk and Chance. So nothing that the quarterback could have done better in that matchup for Smoking on a Lot. But like you said, the roster inconsistencies have hurt them. And then the thing is, if you don't build that chemistry throughout the course of the season, it's hard to just get it at the end of the year, just to snap your fingers and say, hey, now we're all here, let's start playing.
Absolutely.
Teams are 8 weeks ahead of you.
It's a very moose-like existence or dark side-like existence.
Yeah, I'm
That's been my
experiencing it with
experience.
Quan right now in Division B
Yeah.
as well. So
Pandas 2-6. Pandas, man, Alexandre Bakalani is one of the best receivers in the division, and dude, Ryan Carouf looks like the truth. Like, he looks like the best quarterback you've ever seen, but for some reason it just doesn't work. He throws balls into the dirt. He throws balls with no receivers around. Balls are dropped. It's ugly. It's ugly all around.
we have to stop giving. Because this is your first time on the show with us this year, we have to stop saying that Ryan Carouf looks like a good quarterback, because we keep saying that, but he's not playing like a good quarterback.
He's not, but
I know
he never has an FPF.
He looks,
but
he looks like the real deal. I know.
I remember watching him throw in an exhibition game before his first season of
mechanics
FPF,
are
and
flawless.
I thought it was a Division 2 quarterback.
Good from far, far from good.
Yeah, that's
I know a girl
extremely
like that.
accurate.
So do Pandas and Longhorns have a chance to get in? I'll check Pandas, you check Longhorns.
Okay, I was already on Pandas though.
Too late. Pandas have Longhorns. So this game may decide who gets in the playoffs, and then they finish off against Goofy Goobers.
And Longhorns have Norfolk and Chance. Norfolk.
So do they have Norfolk and Chance?
Longhorns have Norfolk and Chance. They're just a very, very mediocre team this year. I love all the Longhorns guys. I love rooting for them in Division C with John Moody at quarterback. But this is a completely different scenario with Brad Evans at quarterback, and they don't look like anything like the regular Longhorns do. They have Norfolk and Chance to make the playoffs this year.
Well, even if they beat Pandas, because either Pandas or Longhorns will win another game.
Yeah.
So that'll put them at 6 points. and there's 2 teams with 5 points. So do they have a chance to make the playoffs over War Pigs or Smoking on That Lala?
Okay, I'll check Smoking on That Lala. You check War Pigs.
I think looking at this, Goofy Goobers is playing War Pigs this week.
Smoking on That Lala has Ravens and Roadrunners. That's pretty tough.
War Pigs have Goofy Goobers and Les Montagnards.
Yep.
So
and Goofy Goobers got Pandas in week 10.
So Longhorns have to beat Pandas, essentially.
Or Pandas have to beat Longhorns.
Pandas have to beat Longhorns. But if we're going to talk about Longhorns, they have to beat Pandas. So if I had to bet $20 on this match, I would bet it on Pandas, despite the fact that Ryan Caruth can't be the man that he looks like. But I would still put it on Pandas because I think overall they just have that athleticism. The weak spot for
realize how existential that was.
Yeah,
can't be the man he looks like.
Can't be the man he
man,
looks
that's awful. That is awful.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a horrible experience. I mean, there must be many sleepless nights staying up saying, damn it, if only I could throw as good as I look, it would be amazing.
I went further. It was like there's like a man in the mirror that he sees. It's the opposite of Dorian Gray. Like he sees this really successful person in the mirror who just does a great job and he's at home and he can't make ends meet. He can't pay his bills and he's like, why can't I be the portrait? Sorry.
So Dorian Gray will be Ryan Caruth's new name on this program, but
Bo won't get it.
But because I keep messing up his name, I put a T in there apparently. So I don't. It's just like instinctive. But I just think the athleticism of Pandas create a sizable mismatch for Longhorns, and I don't know. I don't see this one going well. But the winner of that game will have a very real chance of making that final playoff spot.
So let's talk about the winners of those games, starting with games of the week.
Well done. That's a good teaser.
Let's start off with let's go to week 9, not week 10. Let's not predict too much of the future. War Pigs and Goofy Goobers. Peeze, your call.
I wasn't listening. What are the teams?
War Pigs and Goofy Goobers.
I like Goofy Goobers. I think overall they're much better. I question the move of Jack Zergatis at quarterback. I was wrong. Like I said, I don't mind being wrong. Goofy Goobers win this one.
I'm going to take War Pigs. I think that they know that they have to win for their playoff spot now. No more fooling around. This is a veteran team. I think they're going to pull out the victory.
Black Knights and Red Sharks.
Who cares?
Oh, Lord. No, not oh, Lord to you. Oh, Lord, what a ugly game. It's that point of the season now where we can be honest.
Pick a winner.
I don't know, man. Give me the Red Sharks because they have 40 points difference than the Black. I don't know. Give me Red Sharks.
Black Knights because black is more slimming than red.
Ooh, that's true.
Pandas, Longhorns, Battle of the Basement.
Man, a lot of awful matchups.
This one has significance, though.
This one does have significance. We basically know your pick already. I will go against you, and I will choose the Longhorns. I think the Hawaiian shirt, Brad Evans, figures it out and has a good game in this one.
As long as he doesn't get sacked like 18 times in this.
Throw the ball at Dave Allen in the middle of the field.
Throw the ball on the ground. Just like don't take a sack every second play.
I think this is the one. I think this is the one where he takes advantage of a Pandas team that's kind of reeling.
Call it. Hello. You didn't call it.
He did, Pandas.
I called it. I called Pandas.
He did in the previous
segment. I called it a long time ago.
It's not like you can save it. Now is when you predict them. Then you just speculate back and forth. Roadrunners Big Fun Party Mix 8.
Ooh, good game, actually. This one's now we're starting to talk. No, you don't think so?
No, go ahead. I'll tell you why.
Okay, I'm going to take Big Fun Party Mix 8 to get back on the winning track here in this one. If they, I hope that they just lost. That's why I'm saying that. But
I'm going to take Dean Dimitru to lock up.
Get back on the winning track.
I'm going to take Dean Dimitru to lock up Justin Lerner. I think I think Big Fun Party Mix win this one by more than 8.
That's what I said.
Buffalo Wild Wings versus.
I'll give you a different reason.
Norfolk in Chance. Peeze.
This is an interesting game, isn't it?
It is.
This is like two of those middle tier teams that might be upset specialists in the playoffs.
I don't think they will. I think both these teams will have strong regular seasons and seasons to build on for the future because these are two teams I thought would struggle more than they have. But
is this how you break up with all of your ex-girlfriends? We had a good run. And we had some good things.
Something to build on for the future relationships.
I'm going to have to let you go now.
Norfolk and Chance has one of the best up-and-coming players in Chris Miard. Add that to Akeem Hoy-Charles. Add that to Chris Williams. And the emergence of Rocco Cristiano, a quarterback. I will therefore take Norfolk and Chance.
I'm going to take Buffalo Wild Wings because I heard all of what you said, and I think the Buffalo Wild Wings are just going to be better. That's all.
Plus Nick Bello will sneak on a couple of CIS players.
Yeah, plus they just had a big game, so I think that's going to transition to another one.
Les Montagnards, All Hooks.
Wow, that's a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I don't even know how to predict this one on the spot. It all depends. As we say every week, if Fred Vienne is there, it's a completely different Montagnard. I'm gonna eliminate the risk of that, and I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna take all hooks with my favorite quarterback in this division, C.O. Leving, putting up a very good performance for the win.
Do you know Marc-Antoine Vienne and Fred Vienne? Do you know them like personally?
I've talked to them a couple times on the field. Yeah.
They are the most intense people about winning.
Oh yeah.
So I know Marc-Antoine Vienne, and FD. He's not going to let his brother miss this game ever. So after that loss, we will see Fred Vienne's attendance record be far improved. So I take Montagnard.
Fred Vienne doesn't seem like a guy who just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the beach today. I'm not gonna. He seems like he has a very good reason for probably missing these games.
I know that they're studying in Sherbrooke, so I don't know if they're taking summer courses.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something there. So the fact is, it's either he's going to be able to make it or he's not going to be able to make it, and it's not.
I don't think it'll matter. I think Mav will get on him so much that he'll cancel. Like, oh, I was getting married. Well, too bad.
Move the game to Sherbrooke, you know.
He's like, if you get married this weekend, I'm not your best man.
Ravens smoking on that Lala.
Eagle just wants to get out of here. So, come on.
It's. I love Avery Lala. I love this team, but I don't think that they're there yet. Ravens,
man. Alex David is on fire this season.
That mullet is on fire.
Wow. Yeah. What an impressive quarterback play. I'm taking Ravens.
Lobster dinner still preaching.
Lobster dinner with butter. That's
And two teams that are basically very similar. I take the team with the better quarterback or the team with better receivers, so I take Lobster dinner.
ETC Warriors.
What about me? What am I chopping?
You had your chance.
He didn't say it.
But it was his turn.
Lobster dinner still preaching?
No, I'm going to take still preaching. Just to
Eagle, tell us whose opportunity it is.
Man.
I will always speak if there's a second.
All right.
See, like now, I don't stop speaking.
ETC Warriors, Peeze, your call.
It's been a good run for ETC. I'm happy they got the wins they did. They will lose this game against Warriors. ETC will lose out, but still make the playoffs.
Just two things to bug Eagle here. I wouldn't want to be in front of him at a line at Walmart when there's a special on electronics. This guy will just roll right through you. And secondly, what about this?
Any battery?
What about this new? What about this new speed legislation being put in place in Montreal to lower the speed limits by 2018? Like I already have trouble doing 55 as it is on the residential roads.
My truck's like 220 horsepower. It doesn't go slower.
Sorry, Eagle's banging his head. I'm going to take ETC in this one for the win.
And
really?
Yeah. Against who?
Warriors.
No, I'm going to take Warriors in this one for the win. I'm going to take Warriors. I'm putting on camera.
And this is why you focus. You got to keep your composure. Last game, Trinity Vikings. Hollow.
Tie, because why not? Go ahead.
I'm going to take Vikings on the upside. I think they're playing very good football lately. They got this one.
Tie. Yeah. Final thoughts.
Looking forward to this week ahead. Pandas versus Longhorns. Dorian Gray, please step up and be the man that you thought you were or that you look like.
Eagle, final thoughts. I have to close the show, Eagle. It can't be me.
These shows are long, and I don't know why.
Because I'm so charming, you can't cut me off.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on the show. It's been fun to write the articles for Division D. It's been fun to join you in Hollowhack in studio. One last thing before I go. For those who haven't seen yet, the FPF Cup was announced last Wednesday. We're drip feeding the information out. Every Wednesday, new information will come out, including an announcement soon about the new format for what was the press conferences and our new media package for Roadshow Week, which is a new approach.
It's a week now.
It's a whole week of coverage. We want to emulate Super Bowl week. We're going to be exhausted, and then Eagle and I will do the thing that we do every year, that we do not speak for 2 months after the season because we're fed up of dealing with each other.
These guys have to come to our house, though, right? We're not going to be on the road for a week.
I will tell, dude. I mean, you're going to see. It's going to be one of the coolest things we've done.
Okay,
so I'm looking forward to that. Wednesday mornings, always check for new news, updates, rumors, and remember, goodbye.
Wow.